What up, y'all? What up? Y'all like my shirt? The Spider-Man meme. That's what J. Cole was talking about on that song. Uh, Third party shooter. The Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake, blah, 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 blah. But at any rate, man, getting ready to go to my boy house and watch Golden State versus Houston. And I'm thinking Houston is going to win that series. I thought Golden State had the better team, but we're going to talk about another sport. I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes so I'm not boring y'all to death. But one of the most precipitous drops that I've seen, or as my guy OG Arlie Archer said, Shedeur Sanders, he dip, baby, dip. Come on now, dip. He was dipping down the draft boards. We ain't never seen nothing like this, man. I saw. I saw. I think the NFL scouts consensus had him as the 35th best prospect. So it's 32 teams. So that means he should have been the third player off the board in the second round at minimum. When he finally got drafted by the Cleveland Browns, I saw another grade. Some other scouts had him ranked 27th. So that means he wasn't supposed to go lower than the first round. So I'll talk about two things, and then I'll get into what I want to talk about. The two things is somebody in his camp played a dirty, dirty trick because Shedeur claims that he just got a new cell phone number, and that makes sense. That makes sense because when you trying to expect a call from your new employer that's going to offer you $3 to $4 million per year, this ain't college no more. NIL, yeah, NIL is cute, but it's like when you do it as a grown man, it feel different. When you in college, it feel like you can just trick that money off. When you get $4 million as a grown man, now your brain is saying, I gotta save some of this. You know? But I say all that to say, of course, you know how the Sanders family do. They record everything. So they in the backyard. The phone that I guess he bought to make sure that it was just for the NFL general managers, another one of his family members had it. So they had to come give him the phone. And he was like, what's up? And I mean, I guess that's not the most professional way to answer the phone of a general manager of a coach, but hey, that's just me. But he said, what's up? And then he put it on speaker. He said, hey, this is blah, blah, blah from the New Orleans Saints. Now, the first thing I'm thinking, did you meet with them? I'm thinking they did this to him because he did not meet with them. Because if you doing your homework, that ain't no different than me when I interview for these teaching jobs that I've had. Man, I find out who the principal is, the vice principal. I find out who all the special ed leads are. Because in that case, whoever the special ed lead is going to be my supervisor. Man, I be knowing these people's names before I even sit down and talk to them. But in his case, they was probably able to get him because he said, this is such and such general manager, assistant general manager of New Orleans Saints. He was like, hey, like, you doing good? And he's like, yeah, we've been waiting on you. Of course, he's going to say that to every team that call. We've been waiting on you. And then he said, hey, New Orleans Saints, we'd like to pick you. We'd like you to play for us. And he was like, all right, that sounds good. He said, you're going to have to wait a little while, though. He said, wait a little while? He was like, yeah. He said some paperwork, some internal stuff we got to do. But I'm going to get right back to you as soon as we square it up. And he hung up. He was like, no, that was weird. So at least he had enough common sense to say, oh, no, they trolling me. But then he said, but how did they get my number? He was like, don't nobody got this number. No, somebody you trust got the number, and they gave it out to somebody. But then when he actually did get drafted, all him and his families huddled over the TV, and then he was doing some type of Russian river dance, kicking his legs out, and he was genuinely happy. And salute Shedeur, because we're not even gonna get into how the NFL dissed you and made you sit for 5 rounds before you got drafted. At this point, that's neither here nor there. Was the here and now, 5th round, quarterback number 5. See, you're going to have to come in as quarterback number 5. And think about this. How many teams even carry 5 quarterbacks? Teams don't even carry 3 quarterbacks no more. They used to. And you would think, because now that they play 17 games, or is it 18? Did they move up to 18 games? No, it's 7. No. Okay, I'm going to say 17 because 9 and 8. Yeah. Now that they moved up to that extra 17th game, you would think that you would need 3 quarterbacks, but I guess they say it's that money is too valuable to use on the 3rd quarterback that's never going to play, and we'll just call somebody up as an emergency if our top 2 quarterbacks get hurt. So what I'm saying is, at this point right now, he's quarterback number 5. Then you got Dylan Gabriel of Oregon. And it don't matter if we think Shedeur is a better player than him or not. They drafted him in front of you when they could have got you in his spot. So that's quarterback number 4. Then you got a quarterback number 3, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett is the one with the small hands. Used to wear gloves on both hands like Teddy Bridgewater. And he played for Pittsburgh. Then he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Pittsburgh was unimpressed with him. I don't think the Browns are that impressed with him. But that's still quarterback number 3. Then number 2, that's probably going to be your starter, is Flacco. Super Bowl champion. Baltimore Ravens. Comeback player of the year, I think, for the Browns. Either the Browns or somebody else, he won comeback player of the year. And he can still play as old as he is. That's going to be your starter. But then, QB number 1, man, is Deshaun Watson. Dude, Deshaun Watson this year is going to make $46 million. The year after, 2026, $46 million. Now, I got my degree in public relations. So, that's not a math major. That's not a math business. That's writing and marketing, business. That's $92 million, man. And it's fully guaranteed. They have to pay that man $100 million in the next 2 years. It don't matter how much better of a quarterback Shedeur could possibly be than him now. Dude, Flacco gonna get the majority of those snaps and those minutes at quarterback. And even if something happened to Flacco, if he play really bad or if he get hurt, we got to assume that he can beat out Dylan. Then either beat out Kenny Pickett or they have to cut Pickett. Because, you can see how much of a stretch this is now, right? Because basically he would have to work his way up to be second string behind Flacco, and then Deshaun is like the emergency exception. So if Deshaun come back, then that knocks him back to 3rd. But he's going to have to play his butt off just to get to number 2 spot behind Flacco. But if you owe somebody $46 million, they're going to play. It don't matter how good Flacco was playing. It don't matter if Shedeur knock him out of the starting spot and play well. When Deshaun come back, he's getting his reps again. So, just a messed up situation for Shedeur. but I still wish him the best. And only thing I can say, I hope that electric slide doesn't hurt the recruiting at Colorado.